On today's show, I'm sharing what really happened when I attended Business by Design Live in Arizona. The lessons I didn't expect, the confidence shifts that surprised me, the magical moments that can only happen when you just go and do the thing, and why I almost talked myself out of the trip entirely. We're talking business, bravery, Barbie dream cars, and how saying yes to experiences like this can movify your life in ways you can't plan on a spreadsheet. So, grab your passport, head to the desert, and silence your inner critic, because it's time to movify your life. Welcome to the Movify Your Life show, the plot twist you've been waiting for. I'm your host, Jessica Grace Coleman, and through the Movify Your Life method, I'll show you how to step into the starring role of your story and create a life worth watching. Every Movify Monday, you'll learn how to turn everyday moments into unforgettable memories, activate your main character energy, and use cinematic tools to boldly chase your biggest dreams, like the movie star you truly are. Because when the credits roll, I want you to look back at your life like it's the greatest film ever made, full of meaning, magic, and most importantly, zero regrets. And because I truly believe everyone deserves to live an epic life fit for the big screen. So grab your popcorn, cue the music, and together, let's movify your life.
The Movify Your Life show begins. Lift your spirit, let joy rush in. Feel the magic in the roar. Step on stage and let's forward.
Welcome to the Movify Your Life show, and also happy Red Carpet Monday. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, please listen to last week's episode all about Red Carpet Monday and how we're taking back Blue Monday. And I hope you listen to it, and I hope you are celebrating Red Carpet Monday, because I plan to make it an annual thing, and hopefully it will get bigger and better every year. And I really, really encourage you to listen to last week's episode if you haven't already. So happy Red Carpet Monday. Before we get going, I want to address my voice. It might not be quite normal. I have been quite ill over December. Ever since I got back from the trip I'm about to talk to you about, actually. I wanted to record this episode as soon as I got back from Arizona, but I did not feel well at all. I'm not sure if it was the flu or the virus, but quite a few of us caught it at the event, and it's taken a while for me to shake off. It's still not quite gone. I'm recording this on New Year's Eve, and you can tell my voice still isn't quite right. But I want to go ahead. I want to start the new year with quite a few episodes recorded and under my belt, and ready to tackle everything that January is going to send me. So yeah, I'm recording on New Year's Eve, but you'll be listening to this if you listen to it when it comes out on Red Carpet Monday. So happy Red Carpet Monday. And I hope you can understand what I'm saying, even though my voice is a little husky. So yes, I went to Arizona in December, something called Business by Design Live. I am part of the online Business by Design world. It is run by James Wedmore and his fiancée. Actually, they're getting married this day. I'm recording it, New Year's Eve. His fiancée, Jenny Finley. They both sort of run it together now, you know, with a big team as well, but it's James Wedmore's brand. He does a podcast, the Mind Your Business podcast. He does online coaching. He does this online, it's not really a course, you can't call it that. It's so much more than that. But they have an annual event in person in Arizona. He lives in Arizona. And I only joined Business by Design this year in June. And it lit a fire up under me. And when I heard about Business by Design Live, which you get a free ticket for if you're a member the first time you go, obviously I would have to pay for the flight and the hotel. And part of me was like, what am I doing? I can't afford this. I can't afford the time off. I can't afford the money to pay for, you know, a 3-day conference. To fly to Arizona for that is crazy, but I decided to go. And I'll talk about that a little bit more, me sort of umming and ahhing about it. But I wanted to talk about it because it is, well, on the surface, it might just be someone going to a business conference, and it's so much more than that. It's like a personal development event. Obviously, it's like networking. You meet lots of people. I met so many great people. It was really, really cool, the event itself. But on the surface, it might be like, oh, someone just went to a business event. Why are you talking about that on something called the Movify Your Life show? But I think doing big, bold things like this, even when it doesn't really make sense, like the money, the time, flying to Arizona for a 3-day event. I did add a couple of days on before and after, so to sort of combat the jet lag a bit, although it didn't really do that. We all had trouble adjusting, everyone who went from the UK. But like doing things like this inherently make your life more exciting. And a big part of Movify Your Life is making your life epic and exciting and big. just like an epic movie. So I believe it fits. And I have some lessons I want to talk about that are really sort of Movify Your Life related. So yes, I almost didn't go because of the reasons I said. I didn't think I could justify it. And I think spending our time trying to justify whether to do something or not is a load of rubbish. Because when I really sort of just sat with myself and thought about it, did I want to go? Yes. Why? Because I need the inspiration and the motivation, and I knew it would lit a fire up under me. Live in-person events always do with me, seeing other people doing incredible things, meeting new people. It just shakes things up a bit. It's not something I normally do. I've been to business conferences before, but I've never jumped on a plane and gone to Arizona just for a business conference. So shaking things up is very Movify Your Life. And yeah, I think when we stop and sort of try and justify things to ourselves, just stop. Life is short. If you want to go, if you have a good reason for going and you think you're going to get something out of it, then go. So my itinerary was, I went down to London the night before my flight, stayed in a lovely Premier Inn. It was actually a huge Premier Inn near Heathrow. And then the next day I headed to Heathrow, and I'd already talked to some people in a Facebook group online. There was a live, like a group for the coaching program, then a group for the live event. And people in there had started setting up WhatsApp groups and things. So I was in a WhatsApp group, sort of like a main one. And then I met someone online called Sam, and she set up one for UK people. And there were quite a lot of people getting the same flight as me. So that made it a lot better. I mean, I'm used to solo traveling. I'm fine with that. But knowing that I was heading out on the same plane with like a load of people going to the same event, just made it nicer. Like I could actually travel with people. So I met up with some people at Heathrow. There was a group of about 10 of us or something like that. And having trouble speaking because I haven't spoken much over Christmas. I've just been hermiting because I've been ill. So anyway, and I think it turns out there were probably about 15 or 20 of us on that plane heading out to Arizona, Phoenix Airport. But I met up with about 10 of them beforehand. So it was quite cool to actually meet them beforehand. Then we got there, we sort of spread out into little groups because we were staying in different places, and I got an Uber with 2 people to the hotel in Glendale, Arizona, where the conference was being held. And I told myself I would only go to this conference if I got a room in the hotel itself, even though it was a little fancier than I was used to. I sort of thought I'll treat myself, and also it's so much easier if you're going to a conference to have a room in that hotel. You can just go back to your room whenever you need to. I have a back issue, and I was worried I'd have to go and like lie down in between sessions if the seats were really like uncomfortable or something. I didn't have to do that, but being an introvert, it was really good to have somewhere to go and just relax and be by yourself if you needed a break. So I highly recommended that. I was talking to a few people when we got in, and we decided we'd go to Target the next day. I always go to Target when I go to the US. It's one of my favorite shops. I sort of lived there in Target, practically, when I lived in Colorado for my year abroad. And I wanted to look at the Christmas stuff they had. I wanted to stock up on food and snacks so I wouldn't have to spend a fortune on like eating out every lunchtime and every dinner time. And yeah, a few of us headed to Target, and it was game day. So all the roads were closed near the hotel. So that it was a bit difficult to get anywhere, but we made it. And then we had lunch, and then we went back, and then we had a few cocktails outside in the courtyard. And it was lovely because even though it was December, it was sunny and warm. And I think I'm going to make it a priority every year now, either December or probably January, because January is usually more depressing and bleak once all the Christmas stuff's gone down. But I'm going to make it a priority to go somewhere warm, not necessarily hot. I don't do well in heat, but somewhere warm and sunny, even if it's just for a few days in January, to break up the bleak, cold greyness that is the UK in January. So that part was lovely. Actually, that part was worth going for alone, even if I didn't have everything else. Then that evening, the Sunday evening, we registered. We got a little goodie bag, and James Wedmore and his fiancée Jenny were there, and we got to meet them and get photos and talk to them for a bit. And they're so generous with their time. They really are lovely people, and they were talking to us about all kinds of things, and they weren't trying to rush us or anything like that. It was really nice. And then the day after, the Monday, the conference itself started, and it was 3 jam-packed days. And I mean, it started at 9. It was meant to finish at 5 or 6, but it usually went on way later than that. And then they often had evening things as well. We had speakers, we had panels, we had James talking to us about business and teaching us things. We had Jenny doing meditations and all kinds of like woo-woo stuff. I love their woo-woo stuff. There were sponsors there. There was this guy that goes there every year who had this massive crystal sort of shop. Well, he has a crystal shop, but he brought all his crystals here to sell. And he was amazing as well. Just really great, motivational, inspirational people. talking about how they are living their dream, really. And that's very Movify Your Life in itself. And then we had a cocktail party that evening, the first evening. I went for dinner with the people I'd met and drinks and things like that. I met up with my friend Brittany, who lives in Arizona, who I'd met online in another coaching program, the Travel Coach Network. I'd met her before in England, and it was nice to meet up with her. And yeah, 3 days, full on, amazing stuff. It was very American, so lots of like loud music and people dancing in the mornings to get into the mood and all kinds of things. And me and my UK friends, people I'd flown over with, we often said we need to have fewer inhibitions like the Americans do, or like they seem to do. They're not afraid to stand up and talk about their experiences at the drop of a hat. They're not afraid to like dance around the room, and they don't care. Me and quite a few of the British people were just being very British, and I'm sure you know what I mean. So that was a lesson I didn't really need to learn because I knew it already, but it sort of hammered it home a little bit. And yeah, I learned so much, made like so many great friends. I'm still talking to quite a few of them and hope to meet up with them in the future, get a little like accountability pod going for our businesses and all that kind of stuff. But then after that is when I had a mini adventure. So I decided to hire a car for 2 days. The last 2 days was like a day and a half before I flew home, because I didn't want to go all that way and just like stay in one hotel. Like I wanted to explore a little bit. I really wanted to go to Sedona. That's where James Wedmore actually lives, and Jenny. And it's all woo-woo and energy vortexes and crystal shops and like really cool stuff. And giant red rocks everywhere in the desert. It's just beautiful. So I'd never been there, so I wanted to go there.
Okay, movie star, real talk. Are you tired of feeling like a background extra in your own life? Then it's time to step into the spotlight and activate your main character era. And I've got just the thing to help you do it. Grab my free Movie Star Alter Ego Starter Kit, your behind-the-scenes pass to creating the bold, brave, action-taking version of you who goes after their dreams like the star of a blockbuster. Inside, you'll discover how to design your alter ego, choose your transformational item, pick your theme song, and build the rituals and confidence cues you need to start living your life like the epic movie it was meant to be. So, if you're ready to rewrite your script, roll camera, and finally take the lead, head to movifyyourlife.com/free to download your free starter kit now. That's movifyyourlife.com/free. Your next scene starts today. And now, let's get back to the action.
And then the day after my flight wasn't until like 8, so I knew I'd be able to drive around in the car for a bit. So on the Thursday, me and my friend Brittany, who lives in Arizona, and my friend Sam, who had started the UK WhatsApp group, we went and picked up the car. Now, I was looking online at all the rental places near the hotel, and I've used these places before, you know, Enterprise, Hertz, all the big ones. And they're obviously franchises, there are like branches everywhere, and some places I've had great customer service and great experiences. Some places I've had terrible customer service, terrible experiences. And I was just like reading all these reviews online, and all the places near the hotel had really, really terrible reviews, like people waiting 4 or 5 hours to get a car. And when I only have it for a day and a half, I could not do that. People getting stranded, people not caring that they couldn't get a car, like abusive language. I was just like, I know everywhere has good and bad reviews, but these were really terrible reviews. So I asked in the Facebook group for any ideas, basically. And someone recommended an app to me, which I hadn't actually heard about before. It was Turo. I'm not sure how I say it. Turo. It's basically Airbnb for car rentals. So you get individuals on there renting their car out. You get companies who just use that app to rent their car out. And in my case, it was a company based near the airport. And what I loved was that you didn't have to speak to a single person ever. That you could message them on the app and they would send you instructions. When we got there, I just had instructions. I knew where to go. I knew how to get the key out of the lockbox on the car. They had like a key card inside to get in and out of the garage where it was held. And you did not have to see a single person. You didn't have to wait in line. You didn't have to like wait and see if they had a car for you or if it would be the kind of car you actually asked for. Because a lot of these places you reserve a car and then you get there and they're like, sorry, we have no cars. I don't know how that works as a business model, honestly. But it's happened to me many, many times. So I rented a car. I knew exactly what car I was getting. And I really, really love Jeep Wranglers. Big, shiny Jeep Wranglers. When I went to New England, they were everywhere. And I was like, that's my dream car. Especially a bright red one, like a Movify Your Life red. I couldn't find a red one near where I was, but I did find a hot pink one. So it was this hot pink, giant Jeep Wrangler Rubicon car, and I dubbed it the Barbie dream car before I'd even seen it, and it was amazing. It's huge, crazy colour. If I was driving that around England, I'd get so many people staring and pointing, so much side-eye, probably people taking pictures with it at the side of the road, that kind of thing. But over there, like, everyone has crazy cars, so no one batted an eyelid. So it was great. We drove to Sedona, me, Sam and Brittany. We stopped off at this pie place on the way, which is quite famous. Got pictures with these giant cowboy boots in the garden, always great. Little gift shops and things. And then we also stopped at a sort of the equivalent of like a National Trust place on the way there, with like these ancient homes built into like the rock face, which was really cool. And that had a great gift shop as well. I do love a good gift shop. And then we went to Sedona. We went to this like chapel, which you walk up to, and there's just red rocks everywhere. So beautiful. We looked in a few shops, like boutique shops, crystal shops, souvenir shops, then had some dinner, and then drove back. And it was about 2.5 hours each way, which is nothing in America. Like that's what they consider just like going around the corner. And it was a really, really lovely day. And the day after, someone who I'd met at the airport, who was on the same flight as me, I had discovered she was getting the same flight back, and she was the only person I met who was getting the same flight back. So I invited her to hang out with me on the Friday in the Jeep, in the Barbie dream car. And we drove to Cave Creek, where it's sort of like this little place on the side of the road, and they have this place called Frontier Town, which is like a fake Wild West town with loads of awesome shops. And there was like a big bar area outside, and there was this guy playing country music on the guitar on the stage. And we had like a snack and a drink, and we sat in the sun, and it was lovely. Again, just being in the sunshine, so great. We also found this like really crazy giant shop, like souvenir shop, that was just really into aliens. There were giant aliens all outside this shop. We took some photos with some of them. And they gave, even though we said we were like flying back to England that night, they said, well, if you ever find yourself back here, I want to give you this little green token. You get 10% off. The aliens dropped it off for you last night. So please come back. The aliens want to see you again. It was all very weird, but they sold loads of really cool stuff. So that was fun. And we tried to go to the botanical gardens on the way back, but it was just closing because they were setting up for like a light trail. So we sadly didn't get to go there. But then we just dropped the car off, headed to the airport. Was very, very tired by then. Had started feeling a little sick. And the flight home was a night flight, which was, a bit of a nightmare because I can never sleep in economy in those chairs. But anyway, then I got back. Then it was a nightmare trying to get home because all the trains were cancelled or delayed. That usually happens when I get back to England after I've been travelling for a long time. So it took me a few days to get over the jet lag, and then it's a few weeks to get over the illness. But I'm here, I'm back, I did it. But yeah, I just want to talk about like the power of trips like this. So like trips we hadn't planned on going, somewhere we wouldn't normally think of going. Like at the start of the year, I had absolutely no plans to go to Arizona. I had no plans to go to America because I've been to America 5 weeks the year before. And I was like, it's going to be years before I can afford to go back or go on a big trip again. Meeting up with strangers, doing things solo, or like being forced to make friends because you're on your own. Like all these things are really confidence boosting. But like I say, it's just about shaking things up. Like I have felt stuck in a rut in the past a lot, and that's where all this Movify Your Life stuff like started to come from. And I started to get a bit like that again, especially with winter and being inside and not really wanting to venture out into the bleakness. I thought a week in somewhere hot or like warm and sunny, meeting new people, doing new things, just shake things up. Like sometimes that's all you need. And the fact that it was business related and I was getting all this inspiration and motivation for my business really did give me my like mojo back. I felt like I'd lost my mojo a bit. Going into winter, I always do. I have the seasonal affective disorder thing. When the clocks change, I'm just like, ugh, I need summer, please, or at least spring. So I wanted to get my mojo back, and I did. It's just a shame that I was ill afterwards because I had all these ideas and I wanted to keep the momentum going, and I just couldn't even look at my laptop screen without my head exploding. So that wasn't great. But I do not regret going. I do not regret anything, even though I was ill. Like I say, I made some great friends. I've got some great inspiration. I made so many notes during the 3 days. And just being there and being in that energy, it was like 1,000 people from all over the world, and all of them had big dreams, big goals. They weren't living small. They weren't playing small. Like, the kind of person who goes after their dreams. And that's what Movify Your Life is all about. And I knew I needed more things like community, in-person connection, more fun, more accountability. So now I have like people connections in my phone who I can contact and talk about business and stuff like that. And just, getting out of the country for a week, getting outside my comfort zone, doing things that they are a bit scary, like going and getting on a plane with a load of strangers who you've just met and you're going to spend the next few days with. And it's a lot, but that's why I did it. I needed to go out there and do something different. I'm so glad I did. And before I go, I just wanted to talk a little bit about spoon bending. Yes, like Uri Geller stuff. So I've mentioned that the people running this event and the coaching program and everything are a little bit woo-woo. So that just means they're really into mindset and things like manifestation and meditation and using all the tools in your toolbox really to have an epic life and to create the business of your dreams. So it's not just practical stuff. They do loads of strategy stuff and loads of processes and all the good stuff. But then they also do the woo-woo stuff that can really help you, like mindset and meditation and things like that. And spoon bending was one of the things they do every year. Now, I know a lot of you are probably going to say skeptical British stuff, like the spoons we used, they were, very elegant, slim-necked spoons. I don't think neck is the right word, but you know what I mean. So they're more pliable maybe than thicker spoons, and maybe holding them and the heat from your hands can help you bend them and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, fair enough. The main idea behind it wasn't that we're magic people who bend spoons. They did show the clip from The Matrix before we watched it. They're really into their movies because they went to film school, they met in film school. And so a lot of the stuff is movie related. So of course that resonates with me, but they showed the there is no spoon clip beforehand. But the main idea was that a lot of people think it is either impossible or, it's just not normal to be able to just bend cutlery. And we're not talking about doing this psychically, by the way. That would be very impressive. You are actually holding the spoon. But the idea is, you may think you cannot bend this spoon, but you can. And she walks you through this guided meditation, and you do it all together, and you meant to use the energy of everyone in the room and all that woo-woo, great woo-woo stuff. I do love woo-woo stuff, by the way. The main idea behind it is that you can do things you think are hard. You can do things that you think are impossible. So if you can bend the spoon, you can bend your business to be whatever you want it. You can bend your life to be whatever you want it. You shouldn't be held back by ideas of I can't, or it's impossible, or I shouldn't be able to do this. So I really resonated with that whole idea. But I wanted to talk a bit about my experience because I think she said that you'll get so much out of this, so much clarity that has nothing to do with spoons, nothing to do with any of that stuff. It's about you and how you approach life and how you approach your business and things like that. And I was like, yeah, whatever. It's just a spoon kind of thing. I was willing to, do it, but I was being all British and skeptical, of course. So we started, and it's sort of half an hour of working up to this, and you're sort of holding your spoon. And some people seem to, from what they've said afterwards, some people seem to go into a trance and they're visualizing them bending the spoon, and then they wake up or open their eyes and it's all bent and stuff. But we're not just talking about bent spoons. Some people, they had literally wrapped the spoon around itself in tiny little ringlets. And I have no idea how you even do that. I just physically don't know because I just can't see how you did it. But anyway, some people did proper crazy spoon twirling, which is very impressive. Me, I sort of held it for a bit, waggled it a bit, and then I just went, huh. And then I pulled down the one end, holding the main spoon bit in my left hand, pulled down the other one with my right hand, and it just bent really, really, really easily. And my reaction to this is what is most interesting because I went, oh, I don't know if I did that right. I think maybe we're not meant to actively just really put all the pressure on it and bend it. And I hadn't actually. It was, like I say, it done it really easily. So I bent it back. I bent the spoon back so it was straight because I didn't think I'd done it right. And then I thought, what on earth? The whole aim of this is to get information about yourself as I was doing, but it was to bend the frickin' spoon, and I bent it. So why did I bend it back? And it's because I was worried that I had done it wrong. And even though the result was the result I wanted and the result they wanted, I second guessed myself, bent it back, and tried to play small for some reason. And then I thought, what am I doing? So I bent it back again. And then in the end, I sort of ended up with a bit of a sort of, I don't know, a little, not quite 90-degree bend, but a few bends in it. And I've still got it now. I kept it. And like I say, not at all as impressive as some of the people who literally wrapped the spoon around themselves, around itself, not around themselves. That would be very interesting. but I just wanted to talk about it because it's what you learn about yourself doing it. And I did think at the end, well, yes, if I can do this, then I can do anything. But the main thing was like me questioning why I did it in the first place and then bent it back again because I didn't think I'd done it properly. Whereas in life, in business, if you get the result you want, you can help people get that result. Like, they're not going to be second guessing how you're doing it. They're just going to be grateful that you've done it. And the fact that I thought, oh no, I've gone too big too soon, or I've done this the wrong way and bent it back says a lot about me. And that really gave me like food for thought. But the main idea, as I say, is to show you that you can do anything, basically. And that is what I believe in terms of Movify your life as well. I'm going to stop rambling about spoons now, but I just wanted to tell you about my trip and how even though I was ill and even though I was coming up with all these ideas and reasons and excuses why I shouldn't go, I'm so glad I went. I needed warmth. I needed sun. I needed to shake things up. I needed inhuman connection, community with like-minded individuals who are doing the same stuff or trying to do the same stuff I am. And like I say, I just needed to shake things up. So I want to turn it around now and give you a challenge to shake things up. And you don't have to book a week away somewhere. You don't have to go to a conference, although that's a good place to start. You could join a meetup group. You could go and do something on your own you've never done before. You could go somewhere new, hang out with new people, do something completely different, something that you would never normally think of doing. You could go to a spoon bending workshop or just try on your own to bend a spoon. Although I think it works better when you're in a room full of people who are like really going for it and there's a meditation and music and all that jazz. But anyway, try bending a spoon. Why not? If you can do that, you can do anything. And I just really want to encourage you to go out there, get out there into the world. If you're anything like me and tend to hibernate over winter, like get out there, do something new, do something exciting, shake things up and see where it leads. Yeah, so thank you for listening. Happy Red Carpet Monday. Please listen to last week's episode if you haven't already and go and celebrate Red Carpet Monday. That's what I'll be doing today. Well, when it comes out. And yeah, thank you for listening. And until next time, I'll see you on the red carpet.
Thank you so much for listening to the Movify Your Life show. Before you go, don't forget to sign up for the main character memo mailing list at movifyyourlife.com/list for exclusive tips, treats, and behind the scenes magic. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate it if you could please subscribe, leave a review, or share this podcast with a friend. Let's spread that Movify message far and wide because everyone deserves to live an epic life fit for the big screen. I'll see you next week for another Movify Monday. Until then, that's a wrap.